service you provide. It's awesome to see you bring it to this national platform, and you just kill it. You do it every week, day in and day out, and I'm just stoked. I'm stoked to be a part of what you're doing, and I appreciate every week that you introduce me and the rest of the group the rest of the week. So thanks again, girl. Keep it up. I'm excited for what's coming on. I'm excited for nationals too, you guys. I will tell you, we have got it going on. All right, so let's kick this off. Man, I was gonna use I might share my screen today, but let me know if you guys think that it's needed. All right, 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. That is my cell phone number. I put it in the chat for you guys, or obviously it's available to you on the recording if you didn't write it down. So folks, new and old, welcome. Oops, hold on one sec. Okay. All right, cool. So, as you know, some of you may be new. Welcome to the call. Glad you're here. Don't miss these calls. They're incredible. I listen to them every single week. And I have been doing that, you guys, every day since they started this, Michael and John O'Neill. Gosh, John was doing it 2 days a week. This had to have been almost 3 years ago. So anyway, welcome to the call. If you have a chat, if you have a question, if you have a discussion, if you have a topic, if you have a concern, something you're working on that may be important to you, most likely it has to be important to everybody else as well when it comes to the marketing and understanding the business and struggles you're having with converting in one of the 4 steps, right? See the people, tell a story, build for events, and follow up. If that is you and you want to chat it in there or ask me, then we can go on a little tangent and we can talk about it. It generally strikes up a pretty good training. So feel free. In the meantime, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story so you can relate to what it is that we can talk about today in this cycle. And I'm going to basically kind of share with you why I believe the marketing is so key, and more importantly, you know, how nationals can play into that. Cool. All right, Jono and Mikey started this in June of 2015. Oh, Jono and Mikey, yeah. Wow. Yep. Holy crap, 4 years ago. I didn't even realize it. So maybe I might not have been getting on the calls that early. That's just incredible. This is super cool. All right, so let's roll. Watch this. So 2008. Remember, folks, and the majority of us. So I'm going to talk about the cycle of Renatus and what I truly believe in the years that I've been a part of this, and my experience, what it's set up to do. And I think that we just miss it a little bit, and it's hard. Everybody's got life. Everybody's got their own prerogative. Everybody's got their own decisions to make. And so there's no right or wrong way. I just believe there is a very efficient way and a more effective way possibly that we can all be a little bit more successful, first of all, financially, to help ourselves, and then secondly, to help other people, right? And then to grow our real estate. So I think that Bob is not even given as much credit as due based on what he set up, because we don't take advantage of it as much as we should, or as many people should in the way that I think that he set it up. So check this out. 2007, I was looking to get into real estate. So 2006, when I was leaving Play It Again Sports, I moved to Arizona, and I got my first job in I don't know how long. One that I actually didn't get fired from, believe it or not, because basically you're like a 1099 anyway. And my wife, as you guys know, she's like, hey, give that job to everybody. I got my first job as a loan officer. I bought Carlton sheets off the internet. No, off TV. There wasn't even internet. Or there was, but I wasn't on it. In 2004 or 5, late night TV, drunk at a wedding. And and I buy this program, and I dove into it, you guys. I mean, I gave it a shot, and I just failed. And when I was failing, like when it wasn't working, I wasn't putting enough time into it. I had, honestly, I'm not kidding you guys. I had, like, if you can imagine, people are out there to this day. I considered myself fairly smart. I was a go-getter. I wasn't afraid of trying anything in that way, but I had, time was an issue. I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm self-teaching these books that I bought, right? These books and tapes and notebooks and stuff. This is true story, 2005 and 6. And I'm living in California, and I own 4 Play It Again sports stores, so I'm pretty busy. I was playing sports 5, 7, 6 days a week. And so check this out. Like, I remember I was motivated because I could see the writing on the wall with my business. Like, it was not going where I wanted to go. And I knew we were in trouble. I didn't know the crash was coming the way it was. I just knew that my business was not going to sustain me. And I needed to get into real estate. And so I buy this program, and it was cheap. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't expensive. You know, it's like $500 a month after I screwed up and didn't send it back in the first 30 days. And I'm going back a little bit farther than I want. So just bear with me here. Check. Now, I'm going to make a point, and then we're going to get into some how-to. I don't want you to just get caught up in a story, but understand that I didn't know how to implement this stuff. Like, I was studying, and I was writing notes, but I didn't even try. Like, the one thing that I learned was maybe I could ask for concessions at my closing on my first property where I wouldn't have to pay closing costs. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I really, if I look back, I didn't remember that, man. The long story short is I remember getting a call about coaching. They're like, how's it going? I'm like, it wasn't going very well. And they're like, well, you need coaching. I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't know what that was. And I'm like, how much is it? And they're like, it's $5,000. And I was like, okay, this is 15 years ago. And they're like, oh, it's $5,000. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, oh, what do I get? And they're like, oh, you get 6 1.5-hour sessions. It's going to be awesome. We're going to set you up with a coach. And literally, I was like, I didn't know. And I just threw it on a credit card. I'm like, I'm doing it. I missed there were 8 calls. I missed 4 of the 8 because it was a time when this kid I was working with was playing hockey, and I was coaching him in hockey. And so anyway, you fast forward, and I'm trying to get into real estate. So then I read some books, right? And then I knew when I was leaving Play It Again Sports and getting out of my franchises, and we were down to 1 store, and I basically gave everything back to my old partner because he had a family and I didn't. So I was like, dude, you need this money, whatever was coming in, take it. And I moved to Arizona, mainly because my now wife, which was my girlfriend that I was dating at the time, lived here. And I was like, well, I could just move. I'll come out there. So I get this job as a loan officer, and no one's doing real estate. You've heard this. Then I'm not making that much money. I'm still looking to figure out how to get into real estate. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read Think and Grow Rich. Then I'm trying to do my own real estate. Then I get I get my real estate license in 2007, and the market is just crashing around me. And I'm so excited. I'm finally doing this stuff on my own, you guys. Like Keely said, that is when I refinanced my girlfriend's house, which was her primary residence that she bought in 06. And then I convinced her that we would negatively cash flow the property, that it was good to rent it out, even though it was negative, and that we should buy this bigger house and move into it, buy it 100% financing, no money out of pocket. And like, this was my strategy. And then we'd sell it in 2 years. And literally that's what I taught myself. That's what I learned how to do based on the books that I read. And the market crashed. And it was just ignorance. It was just flat out ignorance, because none of the things that I had done. And what I'm getting at, you can take away from this, is that there are people like this still to this day. It's not like everybody you come in contact with knows all about real estate. They don't. You know more than most people. So we're going into a marketing pitch here in just a second. So follow me on this. At the end of 2007, I am broke. I'm upside down, like Keely said. Literally, Nadine Way, that big house I bought, that in Sherry's name and credit, $490,000 over leverage. It was worth $190. Like, they were short selling for $190,000. The same house as mine, and we had a third mortgage on the damn thing, and I was paying, between all 3 mortgages, that house was $4,000 a month. And and I had no money coming in, right? Like barely to speak of. It was crazy. And that was just one mistake I made. I bought a timeshare, you guys, thinking it was crazy. So I see this at the end of the year, 2007. I sit in the room, right? And I got to figure out how to get started. And I got started, right? I borrowed someone's credit in my family to get a loan to get this thing. I'm 38 years old, no money, no credit, no retirement, no house, no equity, no 401k, no life insurance. I had already sold my $5,000 watch from Predebon Sports, right? I hawked that thing, $750. I sold my motorcycle, which I owned outright. I sold my car. I turned in my sports car lease because I couldn't afford that. You guys, all of this stuff, right? And I remember that I'm doing real estate. And I got lucky. I wholesaled a house in 6 weeks. I studied Chris Wilson, Bob Snyder's negotiations class. I studied a little bit of fundamental real estate, some lease options. Those were futures things. But the money now, what I understood was, right? No money, no credit. How do I do a deal? I do wholesaling. But the market's going down. So by the time you're even negotiating with most people, and technology hadn't caught up with us, there were most of the deals that I was getting under contract, door knocking, right? I'm knocking doors because that's what Chris taught me, had second or third mortgages on them that weren't even recorded. They were showing up late. You couldn't find them till after a title search. They weren't on all the records. So I'm door knocking on houses that were upside down already. So then this strategy is like useless. Like I got lucky on this first deal and I made 12 grand. And most of the time I found that everything was upside down. So then I started studying short sales as fast as possible, right? So I'm going to every single short sales class. I'm studying a few other classes because like it was live, remember back then? So it's live education. So we had to cram it all in 1 week or we didn't get to see it for 2 to 3 more months. There was no live and online education. Like what Bob has evolved this company to, like if you could tell this story and talk to some of the people that were in the back days, what you're offering for the exact same price that we paid back then is a Tesla compared to the very first electric car. You know what I mean? Like it's out of this world difference. And so here's what I'm getting at. We're going to pinch this down into a very small square and get this. I remember, you guys, I would go to the meetings only because I was not because I was marketing, because I didn't even know there was really marketing. I remember that my 5-star was mentioned at one time, and I'm like, I was so ignorant, so not open to marketing. I just didn't even understand it. I just didn't know what people were doing. And so all I wanted to do was real estate. So I wasn't open to it. So I remember going to the meetings because I understood that if I went to meetings, I was networking with people that were into real estate. And I found that I found a lot of leads there, and I started finding networking and stuff like that, right? But 4 or 5 months go by and I make no money. I'm working on, literally guys, I had about 100 short sales at the pinnacle of this thing, 110 short sales on my desk at my home office, where I was negotiating first or second mortgages, or even sometimes third mortgages or tax liens and all this stuff. And I'm negotiating with banks to try to get them to accept my offer. And I'm broke. At this point, we had gone through my wife's savings. We were just in trouble. We were maxed out on credit cards, another $100,000 in debt. So we're a couple $100,000 in debt, not even including upside down. And I remember going to the meeting, and I remember talking to the guy who's running the meeting, and I was like, dude, what do you do to make money? And he's like, look around you. He's like, you know, we make phone calls and we invite people to come here. I was like, all right, what does that look like, right? And it wasn't my 5-star. My 5-star was gone. And he was no longer a part of it. And a lot of people were leaving because they weren't making the sales that they did in 06 and 07. And this is 08, and people are running for the hills, and real estate wasn't a very happy topic. And he's like, you know, you should look into the opportunity to do this. So I started looking into it. And I remember what they told me, right? Number one is, you guys, if you want to get 5-star qualified, or you want to make some money and you want to do it fast, use your warm market. Make your list, remake your list, do whatever you need to do. And it took me 12 people I did my own one-on-one before I even invited some of the people to the meeting. I don't suggest you do that, but that's what I did because I didn't know what the system was. And so I would take a napkin and I would go to Applebee's and I would buy them lunch and I would talk about this program. And I focused on selling the real estate education. And then within 45 days, 4 people out of 12 enrolled, and I made 20 grand. I made $18,000 because one girl did not buy what would be the equivalent to the essentials back then. She only bought the gold, the high-end package. I think it was the gold package. And so it was an $18,000 thing, and I got 9 grand. Or no, it was 16 grand, and I made 8. I made 8 and 10. And so I made 18,000 bucks. And that was in May of 2008. So I hadn't made $1 in almost 7 months to speak of. And so here's the point, is that the fastest way to money is marketing. All right. But that's like the overview. What I found was when I marketed to people, and I know you've heard me say this, what I found was that my real estate began to grow as I marketed to people that are interested in real estate. So I believe, and I feel like if you guys could grasp the concept and really look at the overall picture of this earn while you learn system and approach it that way when we're talking to people. So let me give you an example. And then any questions or thoughts come up because I got some stuff on this and I'm gonna hone it down so you guys can actually put some of this to use. So yesterday I'm in a one-on-one with Krista. She's fairly new, really new to the community. She bought her combo in December and has been coming to events and in studying her classes and is looking at the marketing as her way to get 5-star qualified before nationals. She's coming to nationals. She is excited about the opportunity to be a marketer and then to get into real estate. Now, her friend comes over and we're talking to her friend. And most people are interested in real estate. And most people want to do real estate. And Bob understands that real estate is the way to the wealth, right? Real estate is how you create long-term wealth, how you create passive income, how you retire. There are opportunities in real estate to make massive income through fix and flip, wholesale, some lease options, some wraps, some land, right? And then you sell it off, but you have to buy and then sell, or, you know, if you're lucky, you can buy and then buy it with equity and then pull some of the equity out. And then you have massive income coming from pulling some equity out of the property. If you bought it with equity, and then you can use that for whatever you need to do, as long as you can afford the property, right? So we all understand this, but you have to learn how to do it. And that typically takes time. And most of us, unless you love your job, right? And you have a great job and you're at a point in your life where you're looking to learn to invest your money. So there's a couple tangents here. Now look at, if you think of Robert Kiyosaki and if you think of the wealthy, the goal is to make more money at the end of the month than you need, right? But if you just make a bunch of extra money at the end of the month, you typically just have extra money. And then you hope that you can invest it somewhere if you don't spend it somewhere. Like typically, if an 18-year-old kid gets a contract in the NFL, like all this money, they buy stuff, right? They're not worried about investing right then. So in our younger years, we're not that worried about investing right away. We're worried about spending, growing, getting, owning, having, doing. So that's where our extra money goes. There's a time in the life when most people settle down, they got kids, there's college approaching, or even if their kids are already in college and they've basically lived paycheck to paycheck for their entire life, but they have a 401k or some savings, they own some equity in their house, and they're at a point where they're like, holy crap, like I am not going to retire the way I want to. So now I don't know how to expedite anything. I have extra money, but I don't have a way to grow it. So they come to real estate, right? So unless that's you or that's the client that you're inviting, which is not that very often, typically it's really what you really want to look for in a qualified individual, right? Then we need to, there's this, we have to teach them, they get the opportunity to learn how to invest. But in the meantime, if it's not that, we're coming across people who don't want their job, don't like their job, don't make enough money, don't even know what they want to do, looking for a career change, are in a situation where they have to make money. And they understand by reading books, going online, all of these things, that real estate is the way to make money. And that is true. But real estate, the cliche, the whatever you call it, is not get rich quick. Bob understands this. It's not get rich quick. In fact, it's get rich as slow as a turtle, right? Most of the time when the opportunity for you, and this will happen to you, comes across and you will learn about a deal, a massive deal, a land deal, a commercial deal, right? What's going to happen is two things. It's going to take all of your time because they are few and far between, right? And the price tag, even the brokering the price tag illegally, which you probably will do at some point, try to at least, you'll make 1% of $1 million deal. You'll make, whatever it is, it's just out there. And you're going to have the opportunity to bring buyer and seller together with no money and no credit and broker this big deal, get in between somehow with a contract or whatever you're going to do, and you're going to make this money, right? It's going to take time and energy, and it's the most risky. Most of the time, there's going to be someone's skin in the game. You're going to borrow money to bridge the loan. You're going to borrow money for the down payment, earnest deposit, whatever it is. And it's the most risky. Trying to make the most money, it's the most risky, right? This upfront lump cash, fix and flip, massive, whatever it is, you understand what I'm saying. So you have a potential of losing a crap ton of money, someone's money or your own money, right? Or you don't get rich quick with real estate because you have to go get rich slow through buy and hold process. So you have to fix credit, you have to have income, you have to be in the industry for 2 years to qualify for loans, you have to start a business and then get business credit to have non-recourse. So all of these things take time. And most people that you're talking to don't have the time, including yourself. So the opportunity is that Bob understands this, and that Bob gave you the opportunity to watch the education and plan ahead. Most of us did not plan ahead. And like me, I didn't. I am the exact example of this, of this process. And what it's taken me 12 years to do, you can all do in 3 or 4 or 5 years, like Michael Huggins, right? Among many others. In that you are able to study the education and use a couple of your coaching calls and use your PPQ, talk to your coach, talk to some people that have done real estate, talk to me, and figure out a long-term path, a year or 2 years. Now, here's the thing, side note, things are going to happen for you. Number one is deals are going to come along your way as you invite students, and you're going to have an opportunity to buy a property subject to, do a fix and flip. All of this will happen without you going out and spending time looking for it. Spend your time studying. But if you study on purpose, even if it's only an hour a day, the opportunity for you is going to be, you're going to become knowledgeable. I know you've heard me say it, so I'm not going to get into that again. But if you actually study it on purpose with the purpose of being able to not only learn and implement, right, but to be able to market the education and your understanding and your knowledge, that is going to expedite your marketing. So Bob understands that the way to create wealth is to, first of all, understand long-term investing strategies, right? So once you have extra money, then you know where to put it. You know that you can do subject to, owner carry, creative financing, creative acquisitions, acquiring property creatively, and mix it with credit, partnerships, borrowing a little bit of money, using hard money, right? These are all bonus classes. These bonus classes are so great. Your investor ID, all of this. These are the classes that are going to share with you how to acquire money with 10 or 20 grand. You don't need to have your traditional 20% down and have good credit and get a realtor and buy it off the MLS. You have the ability to create deals and buy deals that need work, where you can force the appreciation and the equity through raising rents, increasing the NOI, increasing the net value of the property, or the ARV of the property by improving it and adding on to it and all those things. So you're going to learn that. Now, in the meantime, you've got to get to the point where you're making an extra 10 or 20 grand a month or every couple months or every quarter so that you have liquid cash to go ahead and grow for you so that you can have money working for you while you're in your job. Okay? You're still working your business, you're still working your job or whatever, but you've got to have extra income. Here's what happens is a couple things, you guys. Now follow me on this, and we can 8:36. We can dive into some stuff that makes sense, like to actually tangible. But check this out. Like if you think about it, we have a job or we have a business or we're stay-at-home mom or whatever, or dad or whatever we do, right? Then we get into the idea of buying into this real estate investing education. Now remember, you're applying this not only to yourself but to your clients. So they are interested in real estate. So they buy this package. So then their time is devoted to studying so they can go out and start to find deals, and they want to do a deal immediately and stuff like that. So imagine if you or your client all of a sudden does the marketing, gets 5-star qualified, and you make a little bit of money, or you flip one little house and you get 5-star qualified and there's an opportunity to make a little extra money. All of a sudden, because there's massive income, 10 grand in a month, 20,000 on a fix and flip, the thought of staying in your job doesn't make any sense anymore, right? And so we don't have that job anymore. We don't have the ability to borrow money from a bank anymore because we're no longer in the same industry. We also don't have the security of that month-to-month paycheck. So now we're relying on our $10,000 checks. Well, the marketing has a learning curve as well. And if you are not dedicated 100%, 40 hours a week to the marketing in the beginning, that beginning maybe 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, then it's going to take time to have an extra 10 or 20 grand. Every time you do make 10 or 20 grand in a quarter, although you have it doesn't take nearly as long and you don't have to work every day, the 10 or 20 grand is already spent on all your bills. So now again, you've defeated the purpose. You have no extra money at the end of the month and you can't use your real estate, right? We've got to think about this on a short, long-term process. Short, long-term means 2 or 3 years, maybe 5. And if we can accept the fact that we're going down this road for 3 to 5 years, that we are going to do whatever it is we do to make money, then we're going to add in some marketing as a number one prospect, which is going to be going to nationals and getting 5-star qualified. And in the meantime, we're going to learn to invest in real estate. And we have to have the belief that when we are learning to invest in real estate, coupled with the fact that we are inviting people every week to come to the events, that we are naturally going to do real estate when we're not even looking for it. And it's a fact. You will invite people with money. Dane Clark talks about this all the time. You will invite people with houses where they've already gotten into real estate some way or another, and they're already looking for deals. So they bring you deals, they bring you money, they bring you a trade industry. Maybe they're a realtor, maybe they're a contractor, a painter, a subcontractor. Maybe they are anything that has to do with a resource that's going to help you get the project done, right? And then lastly, they may end up just be a renter or a buyer, right? And they're not going to probably enroll in Renatus till later anyway. So you have this opportunity where you don't have to be spending all of your time yellow lettering, knocking doors, and doing these things, unless that is what you want to do for a living. And you want to do that day in and day out, then you dedicate the time and you go do it. So anyway, okay, so Sheena says, make a list of the people who can benefit from the education packets, then use the education commissions to purchase real estate properties. Boom. Yes. And so my suggestion, even Sheena, even further, folks, on this is a how-to thing to do it. When we're making our list, I used to always think, okay, my top 25, my top 100, whatever. And then, even now where my list is no longer a list and now it's just people I meet and I keep thinking about all the time. If you could go in and just make a list and have no qualms about them, like not whether or not they can benefit from the education package or not, just a list. And then you narrow that down on where to start with people that you prefer to work with, you like the most, you want to help the most, you care about the most, or you would be considering spending the time with the most, or maybe has the best network or something like that, where we don't judge them at all, whatever. And then those are the people we ask first. And we just invite them. They will naturally, 2.9 out of 3 people have an interest in real estate to some extent. And they understand that real estate's the #1 way to wealth. And they know that they, especially in the markets, they listen to the media, and real estate, like a death in a car wreck, is always talked about on the news and in the public eye. And so through the media. And so it's grown into their brain, right? Much like the stock market on a very superficial level. The only thing the media talks about the stock market is whether or not it went up or down and by how many points, right? There's no description in real estate at all in the news, not real estate, in the stock market, but in real estate, right? They actually have experts come on the news a little bit. They'll talk about this person and what the market and how this market relates to the real estate and what they can expect with the people moving into the area and what cities are the fastest growing and how, and they give you details. They actually create a little bit, right? They don't talk about the stock market like that at all. They're not. So we don't think stock market. We think real estate as the general 99% of the population, you guys. So this is cool. So most people understand real estate. So it's very easy to have a conversation about real estate with most people. And I mean the majority. And so you don't have to specify this list at all. You don't have to break it down. You just want to make the list and choose the people that you want to share it with first. Okay. So great thought. Perfect. All right. So let's focus this in. When it comes to our one-on-one yesterday, for example, and Krista and I are talking, she did a brand new, she brings someone to an event, follows up with them twice to get them to a one-on-one with me, and then we're in the one-on-one within 2 weeks. It's perfect. So in this case, we are sitting down and we're asking questions. And the first half an hour, or not half hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes is asking questions about this individual and getting to know her a little bit. And then Krista takes the time to actually tell a few stories in between, right? And stories help to explain. If there's a visual there and they can see themselves being in that story, they can relate to that story, and so on and so forth. So stories are powerful, folks. When you hear us talk about tell the story, that step 2 in the 4-step process of getting 5-star qualified and moving someone to a close is huge. But I want to tell you, when in asking the questions, and these are hard questions, how's your credit? How much do you make? What do you want to do? Why real estate? Talking about these things, you guys, it was huge for me to find out that we needed to set the groundwork as to where she was going to go down this road of real estate and Renatus and how it can help her. And that, she has a decent job. So we understood we are not looking to quit our job. She was not interested yet in the marketing at all. I brought it up only because I knew she needed money, and that real estate was not the fastest. So we decided that based on this information that her best choice is not just to buy a $20,000 package and have debt, because she will increase her debt and she will not have the opportunity to make massive income right away by flipping a house. There's going to be some time. So we understood that when we go to her resources in order to fund her education, there has to be some breathing room in there for her to study the education. Eventually, by coming to the events, she will see the power of the marketing in the future. We've dripped on it a little bit. It's out in the open, but it's not something we focused on whatsoever. It's not what she's interested in. We haven't even explained it. She hasn't seen the earnings plan or any of that crap. So, but we set the groundwork. We understood by asking a lot of questions in this one-on-one where she needs to go. And we understand the cycle of Renatus, that for you and so now check it out. Krista's brand new. Krista's ultimately interested in real estate. So we even brought that up. Hey, what kind of strategy are you working on? Her parents are working on a little bit of long-term and a little bit of short-term rental that they're working on right now. So she's got some interest in that. But she's got time and energy to do the marketing. And so all of a sudden she's got this person who's one of her friends who must have said it 5 times yesterday, I have always been interested in real estate. I've studied this, I've done this, my parents this. She already has some resources of an aunt who's interested in real estate, who even told her not to go down the real estate agent road, right? So she's already got someone in her network now that's on her team that is interested in real estate, that's gonna potentially be a resource for her to get her own deals done together. Like, there's so much opportunity when it comes to the marketing. And so again, if I had a visual, and if you could visualize with me, our earn while you learn cycle, these arrows that you see on the slides that we have in the presentation, or so on and so forth, where there is a purpose to earn while you learn. So when you're studying the education, if we remember to study the education on purpose, where we intend to tell people about what we're learning and how we're learning it, and be specific on some of the knowledge that you're gaining, so you could almost be what you would call a guru. In a way, you could study something that you've never practiced before, but you could teach it because you've studied it enough and you understand the concept that you can tell the theory. And when you tell a theory to someone on how real estate works, right? All of a sudden, you are an expert and they are interested in what you're doing. So the only thing you've done is not the deal itself. You haven't implemented it, but you know when something's important to you and you start to research it on the internet, and you're Googling a whole bunch of stuff, and maybe it's your kid or something at school, and something comes up, or your animal, and you start to learn a lot. And then when you have a conversation with someone, maybe it's even politics, and you're more involved in politics than the rest of us that just watch it on TV or use social media as our politician network of information, right? So you actually understand it a little bit more. When you have a conversation about politics, you actually can dive deep and name some of the people on Capitol Hill, and you can actually start to tell stories, and you're like, holy crap, I got to listen to what this person is saying about politics. Maybe just because I love this person doesn't mean they're the best for the group. You guys get what I'm saying? People, when they hear you talk, if you study on purpose for the idea of marketing, you're going to attract people that are interested in real estate. Real estate is going to happen for you in your first year based on you marketing, and you're going to make money. When you get 5-star qualified and you make an extra 10 grand a quarter, or 20 grand in 2 months or 3 months, this is possible. Even if it's 30 or 40 grand for the whole year, that's double the average salary, right? Doubling your salary. Like, if right now, if someone said, I'll double your salary, stay with us, doubling your salary, you would not dislike your job that much. You'd be like, I'm okay. I'm cool. I'll stay a few more years, right? There's no question. Everybody would, right? Because it's guaranteed double your salary. You're like, you were willing to take what you're already making, and now someone's going to double it. So all of a sudden, you get an opportunity to do this, you guys. Now your life is better. Like, get it, but we don't do the marketing on purpose. Nationals is going to help you do the marketing on purpose. If you've been to Nationals, great. I know you're going to go again. But even if you've been to Nationals and you aren't thinking about going again for whatever reason, this year we go to Nationals with a different purpose. We go to Nationals with the idea that it's going to become our #1 thing. This is going to be our side hustle. If we make the Renatus wealth cycle our #1 hustle, what we understand is that this is what I believe. If we understand that the life cycle is Renatus marketing first, 5-star qualified, inviting people, making our list, spending every day, understanding stories and talking to someone, not that we give up real estate, only that it is going to enhance our real estate. So now subconsciously and psychologically, we're thinking, haha, I'm tricking my brain because I'm telling my brain my brain still thinks we're going to do real estate, which you are, but you're going to do it this way first. You're going to use this cycle, this wealth cycle that Bob has created. And so it doesn't seem so bad. If we go, oh, I'm going to do the marketing. I'm not interested in the marketing. I just want to do a deal first. That makes total sense. Like, I totally get it. You're going to run into 50% or more of the people that you invite that are going to understand and feel that way too. It's totally fine. So the idea of going to marketing and skipping out on real estate defies every reason why we joined Renatus and spent 20 grand in the first place. But if we think of it and we go, I'm going to do the marketing so I can expedite the chance of me doing real estate, and I can actually bring in some deals where I don't have to be door knocking and searching in a market where the markets are so crazy right now. I can't find a deal from a wholesaler. All the good deals are taken, right? There's all this opportunity. So if we think about the marketing first as our hustle, and we don't think of it as separate from the education, but it's intertwined, now we embrace the whole concept. And we don't mind dedicating time and energy and resources to it, such as spending the money going to nationals. Like if we knew that we could find some money if we invested some money in some marketing opportunities, real estate opportunities like iOS software, putting some earnest deposits down, we're definitely willing to risk that money. We want that money. We're going to put it out there because we think it's going to make us real estate. But the idea of going to nationals, getting a hotel room, sleeping on the floor, sleeping with someone we don't know that well, not that kind of sleeping, sharing bedrooms, sharing hotel rooms or Airbnbs, traveling on the car, taking time out away from our family. Like we start to think about the negatives on this whole thing and how much it could actually cost us $1,000 to do this 4-day trip. All of these things, the money doesn't outweigh the gain, right? Because it's not going to take us where we're trying to go, where real estate really does take it. Like it's worth it for us to borrow $1,000 to put $1,000 on a potential deal. But if we now look at nationals as, hey, the more I do the nationals and the marketing, the more I engage in the full wealth cycle, the more opportunity I have. I gotta mute Tamara. Tamara Brooke, you are not on mute, so I'm just gonna mute you and then I'll unmute you again. Then it's an investment in our real estate. It goes all the way around, and it's an investment in our real estate business. And if we think about that, it's like an earnest deposit. It makes sense because the more people we invite to Renatus, the more real estate we do. And I invite people to Renatus based on wanting to do real estate. So my real estate business, for example, last year was a great year, as I've told you, actually last several years, because the more of the marketing I do, the more deals and the more money that I've met through the marketing, right? And so if we look at the nationals in that way, the investment itself becomes something that is going to enhance your real estate business. And consciously, that's why we're here, right? So, okay, I got 8:53. I want to see, so I'm going to check the chats. If you want to come off mute and comment or question or thought, and then I'll finish up with a couple of opportunities to fully engage in this, to actually take action. So, yes, Sheena, it is an investment. Perfect. I love you guys studying on purpose. I love it. Okay, cool. So I'm pretty excited about this. So the number one thing that I always say that the number one, I guess everything's number one. I don't know why I started saying that so much. So check it out. Each day we have to come off these calls inspired, which is cool, motivated, which is cool, energized, which is cool, with some new theories and concepts, which is cool. But if we don't implement any of them, it's not so cool, because if you think about it, like Bob, back in the day when he came, I hope you guys study that slide, but he actually did try to enhance the education, and he succeeded by implementing, curriculum paths. Every class has a curriculum itself, has a start to finish. There's tests before and after. There is a program, there is a system, there's an implementation in order for him to create successful real estate students by using the ISD design, right? The ISD implementation, and then using practicing instructors. Those were things on purpose, okay? So that the people that were studying the education could actually become a real estate investor. So it's important that we not just talk theory and concepts and all that stuff on the marketing side, and that we have the ability for you to, from start to finish, be able to implement something and do. All right, I have a real quick comment. This is great. This will hopefully be some implementation where we can learn. Bill, when introducing the business to someone and they ask about your real estate investing business, but you haven't done any deals yet, how would you respond? Okay, so, okay, when I introduce the business to someone, and I'm assuming when you say business, the real estate opportunity with Renatus, okay? So, let's see. Correct. All right. So if somebody asks you about your real estate business and what you've done, my thought is this. Don't answer the question. We always want to answer questions with questions. And so you're going to answer the question with questions, and you're going to tell them what you want, or you're going to tell them what they want to hear based on questions. But number one is, I never want to hide anything. I never want to embellish anything, although I do that all the time. You know, situations, it's because that's who I am. But in this case, we don't want to embellish what we have or haven't done. We don't want to be ashamed of what we have or haven't done. And we definitely don't want to lie about what we have or haven't done. And we definitely don't want to hide it. We want to be transparent. We want to inspire. Okay. So if I was in a situation where I had to answer the question, the surface level answer to this is simple. You know what? I'm glad you asked. In fact, I'm going to ask you why you asked me that. But I will tell you this. I haven't done a deal yet. I'm building a real estate business. In fact, my first deal that I've done is I invested 20 grand and a whole crap load of time into learning how to do this crap right, because I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. So let me ask you this, right? So you follow it up. They're thinking, they're like, holy crap, this person hasn't done a deal. And then they go, holy crap, this person invested 20 grand. They're serious. So all kinds of thoughts are going to be going through their mind when you are prepared to give them a fact. Like, wow, that was pretty honest. That's cool. Like, they're thinking these things, because you're not going, oh my God, I'm working on my first deal, but you know, I've been door knocking and you know, and then you're just like everybody else. You're just like, okay, that's cool. You know, good for you. Good luck. Let me know how that goes. Tell me when you do your first deal and how much you made, right? But check this out. If you're like, I'm going to ask you why you asked me that, but I want to tell you so you don't feel like I'm blowing you off. I want to just be honest with you. Honestly, I'll tell you about my first deal. My first deal is me. And remember how I asked you if you were interested in real estate, if you've done real estate, and I had something for you? Oh yeah, you do. Okay, cool. Well, it's what I did. My first deal is I spent a crap ton of money on myself and learning how to do this. So let me ask you this. Why did you ask me that? Like, are you looking for people that have done a bunch of deals, or that you want to work with, or what is it you're going? Oh, you do. Okay, okay. So I wasn't sure. So check this out. I know this guy, Bill. I know this guy, Michael. I know this guy, John O'Neill. I know this guy. I know this girl, Swanee. Whatever it is, you know someone, and boom, tell a story. And now a story's not about you. And they're like, oh, yeah. In fact, when you come on Thursday, you're going to be able to meet them. I can't wait for you to see some of the deals that are being done in this community. That's why I invested the money. Like, it's going to be so cool, right? So this is human nature says, answer the question. But I always say this from my personal development guy, right? His name is Michael. He's here in town in Phoenix, and I've spent over $15,000 learning from this guy. Whenever I'm introducing the business, I am in a state of mind. I am not just out there last minute. Hey, by the way, are you interested in real estate? I'm in a state of mind. So I am prepared in that state of mind that when someone asks me questions, I'm going to answer the question with a question, that I have more questions for them than they're going to have for me. And their human nature is going to force them to answer my questions instead of me answering theirs. So when I'm going to be prepared for this conversation. So this type of conversation, when I'm introducing, is not out in the public. It's over the phone one-on-one, because in the public, I've just gathered their information. So I'm doing things on purpose in different settings. I have to gather the person's information. And if I'm going to introduce them to the business of Renatus, the opportunity with Renatus, or invite them to anything, a webinar, a Thursday night, a property tour, I'm not going to do it out in the world in the public. I'm going to do it in a setting where I'm in a state of mind. I've already adjusted my brain to be able to ask questions and intrigue them and inspire them to want to come. And then I gather information and I have the opportunity to actually book them to the event and confirm their commitment, right? So that's it. So, so that'll help you be able to answer that question, Sherry, or any of you. When you're hit with questions, you're in the right state of mind to answer those questions with questions and be able to be as transparent as possible and not feel bad, not feel stupid, not feel, like you're going to screw it up and anything you say, it's going to be the wrong thing. If you're in the right state of mind, there's nothing you're going to say to the right person that's going to be wrong. And especially if you remember that you want to be transparent, you want to be honest, you want to, and you want to spin it in the good light. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad you asked me that. Like, I'm so excited to tell you what I'm already doing. I sought out this guy, this girl, this guy, and they are teaching, they've done this, this, and this, and I'm working with them. How cool is that? Like, that's my first deal, is finding the right person to do deals with instead of me trying to lose money when I don't even have it, right? Or whatever story you want to tell. And then boom, you follow it up with someone else's story in the community of a deal they've done, and they have completely forgot about what question you just asked them. All right. So I got 901, and I love those questions, Sherry. Thank you for helping me bring this home with some content that everybody can use. I think that was Jay. His dog was barking, so I muted him out. I try to mute people and then unmute them, just because I don't want to ever inhibit anybody from being able to chat. And then the one time I mute them, they're gonna have a question and they won't be able to come off mute. So anyway, you guys and girls, I love you guys. I got 9:02. We should probably respect each other's time. And man, I could talk all day. I hope I didn't spend as much time as I wanted to at the end, really dialing that into an implementation. So you had something to go home with and go out in the day with and work on. But if you could do one thing and just take a step back today, and this is your homework or your call to action, is if you could take a step back today and just go, okay, what is the cycle that Bob is offering and how am I using it? Am I just going after the marketing? Am I just going after the real estate? Am I keeping the two separate? Am I really not seeing the bigger picture? And then do me a favor, talk to the people that, yourself included, the people that mean the most to you, your family, and get yourself registered. I don't know why we're waiting to if you get yourself registered, even, God forbid that you can't go and you register now and you spend $350, you'll figure out a way to offload that ticket. But in the meantime, get yourself a reserved seat, right? There's only, I don't know if there's any reserved seats even left. Get out there, get yourself a good spot. Worry about the travel and the arrangements and the money in the future. Force yourself to have this event. When you put it out there, you build it, you will go. You build it, you will go. Build it with your nationals ticket. And then do this. Reach out to someone in your community. Reach out to someone that you don't see all the time and remind them about nationals, right? If someone's, and then you guys look at the bigger picture, and nationals fits right into this full wealth cycle. And when you leave this national, you'll have 3 more quarters of the year to implement this full life cycle. And I know it. I know that if you do the marketing and you become 5-star qualified, or you make an extra 10 or 20 grand, you will automatically end up in a real estate deal based on the 4 or 6 or 8 or 12 people that you've brought into the community or invited to see this opportunity, and they're interested in real estate. And you will be the direct person to that money, that deal, that time, that energy, or whatever it is. And then you can bring in the rest of the people that have the money or the ability to flip the house or buy the house. They will be a part or already of the community, and you will have a partnership deal with the community, and you'll have a story like no other. But you do it on purpose, and you get to the national and allow that to enhance your real estate and understand. So take a step back today and look at the bigger picture vision of Bob and what we've got created here, and take advantage of it. All right, folks, I love you. Get registered. Call me, text me if you need me. 760-533-3141 is my number. My name is Bill. I love you guys. I'm out today, and you guys make it a great Tuesday. Do what it takes. I'll see you on Dane's call tomorrow. I'll see you guys next week on this call, and we're gonna do some more We're gonna do some more action step stuff next week. I gotta remember that. Keely will remind me, and I'll come up with a training that we can implement. And I love you guys. I got another 2 on one-on-ones today and another one tomorrow. So it's going to be awesome. Let's make it happen. Have a good day, everybody. Reach out to me if you need me. I'll see you guys at Nationals. Love you guys.
Yes.
Castle donuts. But I don't know. You know they have different kinds of old fashioned donuts?
Yeah.
You didn't say what kind you want?
I.
They have glazed, dipped, and
Yeah,
regular.
I said glaze. I said old fashioned
You did?
glaze. It's all good. Mhm.
Promise?
Yeah.
There she is. Oh, yeah. So they said,
Thank you.